A major move is coming. An NBA insider just confirmed that the Knicks could trade Jericho Sims. We're going to break down all of these latest reports and let you know potentially what player the Knicks could target in a Sims trade. But before we get started, guys, about 55% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. We are on a mission to try to reach 25,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. And now, let's get started. The Knicks could trade Jericho Sims amid a lack of playing time. It was only a few weeks ago, and I felt like everybody was talking very positively about Jericho Sims, his impact, and what he was doing on the defensive end for the Knicks. And then, it was only a couple of games. He made a few mistakes, a few key turnovers, and that was enough for Tom Thibodeau. He had enough. He benched Jericho Sims. Precious Achiuwa came back at the perfect time. He took all of Jericho Sims' minutes, and now Sims doesn't see any time in the rotation. Now, I understand. Last night against the Timberwolves, he did play 19 minutes. But the only reason he played those minutes is because Josh Hart was not available. If Josh Hart was playing, Jericho Sims would have remained benched. And because of all of this, it's now leading to a lot of NBA insiders to report that the Knicks could trade Jericho Sims for another impactful player off the bench. And according to the latest reports from Mark Stein and Jake Fisher, that's exactly what's being indicated here. Let's break down these latest reports. The Knicks could move Jericho Sims is the headline for Bleacher Report. Center considered trade candidate amid decreased playing time. That's according to Mark Stein, a longtime NBA insider. And here's the report exactly. New York Knicks center Jericho Sims hasn't seen much action this season, and some around the league reportedly believe he could be available for trade before the February 6th trade deadline. According to NBA insider Mark Stein, sources said that Sims has played fleeting minutes of late in Tom Thibodeau's rotation, leading to the former Texas center to be considered a trade candidate to monitor by rival executives. The Knicks don't have much depth behind star center Karl Anthony Towns, as Mitchell Robinson remains sidelined while recovering from that offseason ankle surgery. Mark Stein noted that the team has already gauged Robinson's trade value dating back to this time last season. We reported it a few days ago, and now we have multiple NBA insiders confirming the exact same thing. The Knicks could move on from Jericho Sims. They could trade him to get another impactful player that they can play off the bench, a player that they're not going to bench. And since they're still waiting for Mitchell Robinson to come back, there is room to add another player to this rotation, especially a player that Tom Thibodeau trusts and will actually play, because we can and should expand the rotation to 9 players. Every single time I talk about Jericho Sims and potentially trading him, I get the same type of pushback. He's not making that much money. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent next season. And who's honestly going to want to trade anything significant for Jericho Sims? Well, I did a little bit of research into this, and thanks to the guys at Sports Illustrated, I came to a conclusion and a name. Also, shout out to my guy D Black on the app X, who has been telling me about this kid for months now. And I finally bought in, my guy. The player that the Knicks should trade Jericho Sims for is Portland Trail Blazers forward Toumani Camara. He is defensive-minded. He would thrive under Tom Thibodeau. He is athletic. He is young, so he fits the Knicks' age timeline. He's only 24. He is 6'8", so he's tall as well, and he's having a very good year. If the Knicks are able to flip Jericho Sims for him, it would be an unbelievable trade. Here's a little bit more information about Camara. Shout out to Sports Illustrated for giving us the following information. According to them, one player that makes sense for the Knicks to trade Jericho Sims for is Toumani Camara of the Portland Trail Blazers. He's just 24 years old, has already made a name for himself as a solid offensive player and a reliable defender for a rebuilding franchise. The Trailblazers are expected to be heavy sellers on the trade market as they look to start from the ground up, and New York could give Portland draft capital in return for the promising forward. Now, like me, you're probably saying to yourself, the kid sounds good, I'd like to have him on the team, but I understand that Portland wants draft capital. The Knicks don't really have draft picks like that. So what would a trade package for Toumani Camara look like in order to get Jericho Sims off the team and Camara on the team? Well, thanks to Sports Illustrated, they gave us that information as well, too. The Trailblazers would receive Jericho Sims, a 2026 second-round pick via the Golden State Warriors, a 2027 second-round pick via the Minnesota Timberwolves, and in exchange, the Knicks would receive Toumani Camara. Portland would likely ask for multiple draft picks considering Kamara's production at such a young age. He's averaging 9.1 points, 5.1 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and 1.4 steals while shooting 42.1% from the field and 36.9% from deep. In a role backing up the forward position, he'd be a great glue guy to give starters OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. Especially with Mikal and OG playing so many minutes, he would be a very useful addition because he would be able to absorb some of those minutes and give our starters a break, give them a chance to rest. Sports Illustrated continues here by stating the trade would force the Knicks to give Preston Achiuwa and Ariel Hukporti more minutes at the center position before Robinson returns. But seeing how Sims has fallen out of the rotation recently, it doesn't hurt the Knicks. In the long run, the move could pay off by completing the bench from 1 to 5. McBride, Payne, Camara, Achiuwa, and eventually, when Robinson returns, you can add him to the bench as well, too. And that would form a solid next 5 right next to the rotation of the starters. This just makes too much sense for the Knicks. You get another capable wing, 24 years old, 6'8", already having a great season. Offensively, he is capable. Defensively, he's already good. He's getting better. And imagine what he could look like under head coach Tom Thibodeau. He would take his defense, which is likely here right now, and move it all the way up to here. And the only thing he would need to do is play him some minutes. Maybe significant minutes, but still, he deserves those minutes. Because if you look at what he's doing with the Trailblazers right now, he is playing very good basketball. And on a team that's looking to compete for a championship, you need players like this, glue guys like this, players that can sub in for OG Anunoby, for Mikal Bridges. So they're not playing 40-plus minutes a night. OG Anunoby is playing a career high in minutes right now. Mikal Bridges might be doing the same thing. I'm not sure about Mikal, but I am sure about OG. And that is not sustainable for an 82-game season. We're going to need to rest these players. If we reduce the starter minutes by at least 5 or 6 minutes, so they're playing 30 to 32 minutes a night, and we're giving those additional minutes to other players, younger players, players that are hungry, committed, want to play the right way on defense, the right way on offense, and play as a team, I don't see why this trade would hurt the Knicks. Sims is out of the rotation. He's not going to come back. He's not going to give us any more time at the center position, and he's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. If the Knicks can flip him for anything significant, especially for a young kid in Camara, who's already a good defender, can become a better defender. He's a wing. He plays the wing position, which is one of the most desired positions in the entire league. You can't have enough wings, especially a wing who's young and can thrive under Tom Thibodeau. And he also gives you good size as well, too. I'm not saying he can play center, but if you're okay with 6'8" Preston Achiuwa playing that center position, then you should be okay with Toumani Camara playing that center position as well, too. Not saying he would play a lot of minutes there, but he could definitely switch with Achiuwa. He could do it better than Sims is doing right now because Sims is not playing at all. And if you can flip a player who's not giving you any impact right now for a player that can, that is always going to be a trade that you win. And knowing Leon Rose and this Knicks front office, this is the type of trade that they're capable of. Flipping somebody, a player that we have no use for anymore, for somebody that's so capable, so young, so athletic, and fits the age timeline of this team and can grow with this team, can become a significant bench piece for this team. That's the move to make. And Leon Rose, he's the person to make this move. Only time will tell to see exactly what move the Knicks actually make and what piece they go after, but it's clear. Jericho Sims is going to be moved at the deadline by the Knicks. What player, you ask? Your guess is as good as mine, but if I'm choosing, if I could pick a player right now, it would be Toumani Camara because he fits the Knicks, he fits what we're trying to run, and he fits the coach. And let's face it, if you're making a trade right now and you're the Knicks, you need to get players that Tom Thibodeau will play. Thibodeau will play Camara if he's on this team. But what about you guys? What do you think about the following reports indicating that the Knicks could move on from Jericho Sims? They could potentially trade him to get another impactful player off the bench. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.